those days. Happy Tuesday, I guess. Audio's cutting out, loud noises. There we go. What are we doing? I think we're working on building people. Oh, he looks like he's got the corona. You might want to social distance.
Oh, nice. I noticed you got him hung up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I could have gotten you one of my mini coasters. Wait, that was mine, and you took that over there.
Yes, it did.
Oh, yeah, you better get it back here. It's very important that I have at least 4 coasters.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't want to. There's lots of phones, but yeah, they are secondary. So I need to do some like idling for them on this. So I have Celestia already kind of walking out. So she is doing a little bit of a slide here. Her hooves are not 100% touching the ground. I need to make sure that that's not going to cause a lighting issue.
Are you even going to be able to really see
Manhattan?
Are you really even going to be able to see your feet in the finish shot?
This one? This one, yes. And the concern is if she's taking a step and she doesn't fully touch the ground, there might be a layer of light underneath her hoof. It's just about ensuring that it looks fine, and I think it does. So that looks fine. So the next bit is to ensure that her hooves are not slipping. So she puts her hoof down and it slides backwards a little bit. But it's pretty solid once it gets to about there. So there's a bit of time where up through here, and this is, oh, you know what? This is not even in visual range because this is during fade time, so I'm just going to leave it. Okay, so from here to here, and then I'll have to do to there. I'll put it like that. And I'll do it there. I need to lock this hoof and ensure that it is. Okay, that's what I thought. So I can actually see the line there where it starts to go up. So it's about offsetting it, or at least as close as I can to. Okay. And then having the leg correctly follow that. Okay. And now it's going to do the same thing, but I'm actually going to hit it with in.
Guessing you're going to finish everything else before you finish the crown, huh?
I have to.
Yeah.
If I don't, I run into other problems. It would be very difficult to animate everybody else if the crowd is full. Oh, your left forearm, this one. Okay, I do not want any of these slipped to go right now. That's better. Oh. There we go. It was bothering me, so I at least fixed it. It's better than before, so. Okay, so that leg stays still for the most part. This back leg slides at the beginning, but again, don't care. This leg isn't going to be visible, so I'll just leave it a little slide. Yeah, that's fine. This hoof, though, definitely slides. Oh, it actually jumps a little bit here, too. Doesn't visually jump, though. Yeah, it's smooth in its motion. Something up here is causing... I don't know, whatever. Yeah, I think it's right here. Yep.
See, I don't think I've seen you really put much time into a walk cycle since Remembrance. But then again, I think about it, you don't really do a whole lot of walk cycles. Or maybe I'm just not thinking.
Anytime I have visual where you can see the feet, I'll do this. I've done it with, I did it with Twilight, another one that I was working on.
Oh yeah. You didn't really walk a whole lot in that one, though.
No, or Spike I've done it with, I think, in there. Because anytime anybody's walking on the ground and I'm using a walk cycle, I will clean that up. Otherwise, it just looks like they're sliding and cheaply. Which the easiest way to do it is use a camera like this, because then you don't have to worry about it at all. But in this shot, I have to. So, and it's very minor. It's I could get away with not doing it at all, but I just feel better about doing it. So, looks like for this one, it's still red. That is the forward and backwards. So there is a little bit of a hump right here. It looks like it's pretty balanced on how it moves. And normally I could just smooth this whole thing out, but I need to make sure how I have to adjust the leg. So because of that, I want to, like here I don't have to adjust the leg on that one. But I want to see how it should be corrected so that I can do the same correction on the rest. And this is just a slow slide backwards. I'm going to go all the way from there probably. Okay. And I really don't even have to adjust it at all. So we're just going to say from there, go in. So that does have a little bit of a sideways motion that I need to account for. Okay.
Those look better.
Okay, shoulder has this broken. If shoulder has this broken, I Just 2 doesn't, so it must have just been the shoulder. Alright, that looks fine. Now this is going to look really weird here because it's trying to, it's locked in place so everything else is jittering all over to make it work. Oops. But it does feel locked in place. And it the way I do this without a rig is going to make the hoof usually like kind of wobble on its wrist a little, but for one, I think it's better than a slide, and for how far away this is, I don't even think that wobble will be noticeable. But I can see here, right, let's grab that left hand. This one's still locked, good. So from here to here to here, just gonna move that forward a little bit. So it does look kind of weird. Okay. And now when her hoof goes down here, it goes from the forward and then down. So it's here, and then it slides back to its position. It should be like in that position from the beginning. So let's see if we can fix that. I can see it goes all the way up to there. That's for the wrist, but
no, I will say this about Minnesota: you guys have better apples.
is that the Fuji?
I think it's Honeycrisp.
Oh, Honeycrisp they were made in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Or invented by the U of M, I believe.
I think growing up, all I ate was Red Delicious. And they weren't
Oh,
good.
Red Delicious are disgusting.
Yeah.
They're just red, and they're not delicious. No, Fuji are one of my favorites, like the ones that are kind of mushy. Mm-hmm. The super juicy Honeycrisps are good too, but my favorites are like the ones that don't come out in pieces. They're more like they're like a hard applesauce put together. Those are my favorite.
I can't tell the difference between Fuji and Gala.
They're probably. I'm thinking it's Fuji. I don't know what, but that might be what it is. But Honeycrisps are just expensive. That's the only difference.
They're tasty.
Yeah, they are tasty.
Yeah, growing up, it was always Red Delicious and Granny Smith. My grandparents had a crab apple tree I'd sometimes eat off of, but they were always bitter. I hear they're good for pies, though.
Red Delicious?
Crab apple.
Oh, Kyle has one of those trees right outside his house.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna have to see if I can.
They're good for like jams and pies and stuff, but not good by themselves. Really, really bitter. Sugar required. This is a very loud apple.
I'm just gonna. So from here to here, I feel like there's some motion I need to offset.
Can't wait to see this whole thing put together.
Okay, it kind of slides down there, so I think what I'm going to do is this. Its height is in blue.
I know the only problem I'm going to have watching this finished product is I'm going to be comparing your animation to everybody else's in the video.
But everybody that's in there is really good.
Yeah, but I'm still going to be comparing them all.
Well, don't. That's why I tend not to to jump into projects, because then people do that, and then I get comments that are like, "Oh, I saw that looks like blah blah blah's work," and then they ignore everybody else's, and it's stupid.
Oh, it makes you feel better. I hardly ever comment in the comment section of anything.
I know, but it's that mentality.
It's going to be impossible for me not to. Because I've sat here and watched you do it. I'm going to be like, oh, this is your part, because I'll know it's your part. And then I'll be like, oh, this is not your part.
But this whole thing is, like, there's some audio lead up, and then there's one small little bit before this.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Like, so this whole...
Somebody's going to animate that bit before it.
I don't know.
No? I know. Well, I'm assuming.
And I all I was asked of was to do this one part, and I'm not looking into anything more. You're trying to, like, delve into more info that it doesn't exist for me. So I don't ask the questions. I just do the work.
Stanley.
Okay, so yeah, I think that looks fine. It looks better than it did before.
Mm-hmm.
That back leg looks a little bit compressed here, going in. I can fix that kind of. That's the peak. That's a consistent, and then I think this is a quick to us, and then all right, slows down. All right. Oh. Let's grab that foot and lock it, and see if this works. A little bit of a wobble, but it does remove some of the compression. Though I think it does go a little further than that, but it gets rid of some of it.
So any names I might recognize of the other people working on this?
I don't know what info I can share. I had to ask for permission just to work on it here.
Fair enough.
You've met most of them, though.
I imagine if I looked back at some of the, because this is like part 4, right? Or 3? Can't remember.
They have part 1 and 2, but this isn't either of the part 3 or 4. This is an in-between. It's just like a little small thing for fun.
Okay. Well, I'm assuming I could look back at the older videos and it'd be a lot of the same people. Soon I will overthrow you. He's thinking it. She's like, yeah, just try. It's like I have taken down at least a dozen usurpers in the last 300 years. Happens a lot. Every generation has one that she just has to put down.
I'm going to put her face as being less cheerful.
So happy, or it's the only thing that breaks up the monotony of her life. I can see that being Celestia too. It's like, Celestia, the changelings have declared war. They have. Oh, good. I was getting bored. We haven't had a good war in at least 2 centuries.
It's been a century since I've had a good murder.
Yes. You just get that old and you just look for anything for entertainment. A good war. The casual plague.
Okay, her eyes, even at 0, are a bit off, which means to me that I probably played with some eyelid bone. There. Yeah. I must have turned those a little. I think I'm gonna have her, when she does her turn there, see if we can have her do just a small head turn. It's not enough.
Need to like be animating a baseball field. It's a Field of Dreams reference, by the way.
No.
No.
Okay, there we go. So when her eyes are closed here, and then move her eyes over. Oh, that's too much. Actually, the one thing I need to solve here is her eyes are crossed, which actually would be solved if I just move the eyes out as far as they actually should be, but you know what? I'm lazy. So, well, okay, no, I probably should. Because right now, she's looking this far. She should be looking like this far. And that does change how much her eyes are crossed. Fuck it. Wait. I guess I thought. I was pretty sure I had some level of. Her head's just a little turned different, but that is fine. Nobody notices that. Okay. Do I really need to do anything more with her? I don't think so. Oh, for this middle part though, her eyes need to be further to the left. I need to have it so that there's no white space. So her eyes moved with her? Good. Okay. Because if it wasn't, being it's that close, that's where you're going to have issues, and having it further away helps. There we go. Oh, that hoof is definitely floating. But again, does it matter?
I still love that armor. Somebody did an amazing job with that. Reflectivity on the hooves really sells it.
I showed you who it was.
Yeah, you probably did.
Okay, from this angle, it looks fine. That's what it was. Though you can kind of tell a little bit here. Oh, that hoof's in the air. That's fine. But because if you're floating and you have the hoof here, you could be like, well, how am I seeing the undershadow of here? If it's fully on the ground, then the shadow should cut here, but this one is still actually coming down.
I mean, you really nobody's going to notice that from the distance, though.
No, but if it was too much of a...
yeah, it was too much.
But that's why I need to double check. I don't know what too much is because it really depends on the lighting and a whole bunch of stuff. I feel like even with that many random ponies, that you're going to start seeing repeats real quick.
Well, you said yourself you had a lot more RAM to work with. And if you wanted to make more, you certainly could. You just have to break it into more renders.
Yeah, and I'd rather not.
You might almost be able to render the whole thing in one shot with what's going on now. You don't think so? You were saying do it in 2.
No, because I hit 200 and it was chugging pretty good where the render would suck. Which means 200 is I can fill... I think I can fill most of this. Whether or not I'd be able to fill this section, probably.
What's the maximum number of renders you'd want to do?
The number of renders isn't the difficult part. It's how complex the crossover is. Because no matter what, I need 1 row of crossover range. So the less rows that I render, the more of it becomes crossover. So if I render this whole section, there is no crossover. It's just a break right down the middle, and then I'm good. If I have to cut it in the middle, that means that I have 3 renders, 1, 2, 3, and this middle section would have 1 row of crossover. But if I split this into 3, then I have 2 rows of crossover. So instead of having... So as I start breaking down the renders, more and more of it becomes useless in the render.
The only reason I'd say you don't need to bother with more ponies is because...
Just that many? Just keep cut it like this?
Well, just double them up where you fill everything up, but you don't need more varieties. It's because so far they look like dots, and we were already having trouble coming up with different colors.
There's certain ones that would stand up more than others. So like little yellow hair here. But the nice thing is that I can mix them up, still throw them out random, and then go to the individual ones and change their color. Because the whole point of having what eats RAM usage is the model itself. The retexturing of the color, or the override of the colors, are no memory use at all. So because they're all colored that way, if I see one that I just think stands out too much, I can go find a couple of them and just change them to a slightly different hue.
I mean, you could just like drop a couple of known characters in there too. If you had the RAM, do it.
Mm-mm.
You know?
You just want memorable characters.
Little Easter eggs for people to find, like a Where's Waldo game.
For a 3-second shot.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm. This is supposed to be, what do they say here?
Can't even have Lyra.
In Manhattan, the Equestrian Council convenes.
It says the Equestrian Council convenes.
Lyra, I think she'd be in that kind of...
Yeah, that's where it comes. It's like, I can't just throw, like, people in there that would be, known because like, what is Octavia doing in the Equestrian Council? She represents the music division.
That's right. You got it.
She's from
Vinyl
around.
could be in there.
Hi, Chris.
Turkey could be in there.
Could you take some flat images and stick them in there? Are you talking like flat images of ponies? Because I need to keep everything moving. No. I've done something like that before though. Because like,
I'm just imagining like the stock photo of Twilight Sparkle being on the desk like that. Everything's serious.
No, because all these guys are moving. So these are all already like animated to have various random things that they're doing. So, and I did the math, and I can fairly confidently say that I could split this into 3 renders at the most, where it'd be like it'd probably be these first 4 rows as being one render, then the last 5 rows, because this would be the crossover area, and then this one. So I don't think I'd have to do any more than that. But whether or not I can break this into less than that, I don't know. Because it could be that maybe I can fill in, I can get up to like these amount of rows, but then I go and just do these last 2 and then this section and do it as 2 renders instead. So, but no, I have done something similar, like in this one, when she's walking away here, that whole mountain and everything is just a flat texture. I just took the like standard one from the show and cut it out, turned it all black, then just alpha'd out the other parts of the texture. So this is a big flat square texture that just has parts that are see-through where those are. And it's see-through because I needed to make that cloud around it, and that's an actual particle effect. So it's actually like moving and shifting. Though actually, now that I notice it, you can actually see it clipping through the texture right there. I never noticed that.
I really appreciate the pink cloud. That's an attention to detail that some people would have missed.
You can't. If I showed Camelot without the pink cloud, it would have been so many people angry about it.
About the cloud not hovering.
Yeah, that was mentioned so many times. It's not an attention to detail; it's a requirement. Like I don't even know if there's freaking power lines in there, but I just felt that it worked. And
they did mention the electric generation towards the end of the war, so they do fit.
The main reason it's there is for wind, because I wasn't able to animate these, but I have a wind howling. And if all the trees are dead, I can't do anything moving with the wind. The only thing I can do was to move this cloud across the ground, or to move this cable. So that was the only reason I had the cable, was just for the wind effect.
Yeah.
And I had to custom animate that, I believe. The cable has like one locked bone at the end, and then another one you can just move, and it kind of just makes a wobble. And so I just like played around with it.
If we are nitpicking, she should be coming out to a dead apple orchard, which I guess this could be those.
A dead what?
Apple orchard.
That's kind of what these are supposed to be.
Okay, she's a little close to Ponyville, but I'll forgive that.
It's about just.
I mean,
it's a silhouette, and if you think about the size of this building and how big that tower is, how big this is in the distance is too big. Because if this top of this tower, you've seen in the show how big it is. Mm-hmm. That means that from here, if somebody was in that arm of the tower, you'd be able to see them from here. Maybe as a speck, but that is way too close.
That's hard to determine how close Camelot was to Ponyville.
No, it's because they don't care about distance or portraying it correctly at all. So it's yeah. But that was one where I did a 2D. All these other rocks along these edges are not 2D. They're actually 3D rocks that I just basically turned the lights off and then put a haze bullet behind it, so it made it look like an outline. But this is the actual 2D one. These are all 3D models. I'm trying to think if I had any others that I did that cheat with like having a 2D texture on something. Australia kind of, but I used 3D models. It just simulated like here. So I was using the 2D the anime method of doing layering, but those are 3D models. It's just that they're all moving perfectly as one, so it's just really hard to tell that it's 3D. But it made it so the lighting worked pretty good, because you can actually see the lighting shifts like here across different buildings.
At Big City. It's a cute pony. I like the red one.
I think, is this still broken in here?
What is it about that red pony that makes me happy?
Floating trees.
What's up that red pony?
Yeah, it's a red pony.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this one is just that. Oh yeah, this is another one that's flat. The ground there has no models. It's just a flat texture of a city that was taken from SFM. But it's just a picture that I took of the ground from above, made an entire large cityscape, took a picture of it. Then I applied that picture to a flat texture with a bump map, and then just repeated that across the ground. But then to make it look like it's further than it is, it's concave, so it starts flat with the one that's below it, but then each one raises up a couple degrees, so that it's actually a bowl shape. And I did that because it would raise in the distance, the horizon would come up because of it. But also because of that, you can kind of see, I think that's like one of the lines from the bend. So that was another one where I used 2D. Almost all the clouds are 2D. Like those are not just 2D clouds, they're all the same cloud. That's all 2D clouds.
So does this mean I'm going to get my stock photo?
Those are all 2D clouds.
Behind the desk. Be amazing.
You what?
I want my stock photo of Twilight behind that desk now.
It would take, even as a joke, that would take me too long to get it.
Just her back there, like my counselor, and everybody's just like, and Twilight stiff still behind them.
Actually, it probably wouldn't even take that long.
Just be the stand-in until you can find another 20-foot pair. That'd be amazing. It has to be the stock photos. None other where is it? It's gotta be there.
Which one's the stock?
If you type in stock, it'll probably be like the original one.
There's the movie stock.
No, this is the original stock photo. The one they put on all the merchandise. It's like infamous. There it is. Yep. That's it.
What's this one?
Like every piece of merchandise. That's horrifying.
No, this one's actually pre-done for transparency, so I have to save it. You can't copy it.
We just put it on like a square or something.
I'm trying to think of the square. I can't remember where the box is. There's a green screen model that's size 1024 by 1024. And so if you search 1024, it will come up with a model that's just called 1024. So I need to make a green screen model. That's what I use. But other things also utilize that. I just can't remember if it's in user mod, if it's in workshop. I think it's in user mod.
Is the problem with having so many models?
43 or 44,000 that are loaded at any one time. Das Mods, that was it. Not Neri. I guess I could have loaded it then. It's the tracking panels. These textures must be in a different spot. I missed it. Oh, this is because I'm in workshop. Stupid. Okay. Das Mats. Green screen. Yeah, because I swore I had exported them at some point. I tend to use this as a quick. Actually, I miss export. This is already square. I use this as a quick square model of anything. Oh. There's one downside to it. It might be funny though, so we're gonna go and do it anyway.
Then I like it.
I think I can export as PNG. Oh yeah. What did I do that for?
That's the picture you used for fun.
Yeah, it might have been the actual one too. Nope, that's it. That's the one I used. Really low quality though. I think I went back and redid it, and that's why I have that this one. Mm-hmm. I think this one, and if I look at the alpha channel, yep, that's it. So I didn't actually make it black. It's colored, but there's no light, so it just makes it black. And this is just has the outline of it.
It's kind of creepy when it's just a silhouette.
Inverted silhouette.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I need to do this, and then import, and then I had to make sure I did this because I think it should. Yep. Keeps the alpha.
I'm Twilight Sparkle.
It doesn't like when you hit shift. It'll sometimes disconnect it, and if I do underscore, you need to hit shift to do it. There we go. Yep, that's what I thought would happen.
Why?
Because this is to save on it. It makes it repeat in 4, and so I was almost 100% certain it was going to do that. So for Canterlot, I can't remember what I did for that. The only thing I can think of is DOSMots has other panels, and these might not do that. Which would make no sense to me. But I guess I'm going to copy the other thing, but that shift key, I hate that. I have to like hit it and then see if it works. Nope, still does the repeat. Ah. Now, why does it have a white border? That doesn't make any sense. Because that could, you know what? I'm just gonna leave it. Look at this, even like on her butt, you can see it, whatever. Which means that this doesn't 100% work. Though. I thought I could put that on here. Apparently I can't override translucence. Oh yeah, it's always all using the same texture. That would be why. Base texture transform center scale. Let's see if that works.
Oh, it's gotten worse.
Let's I don't remember how scaling works.
So much Twilight. That just seems all centered.
Because you can actually modify how textures are processed or how they are placed on something. You can actually move them around, but that doesn't seem to be working. Center. Oh. Oh, so this needs to be on. That's the one thing. Green screen. Okay. Why isn't translate working? Well, I would have noticed something if it was actually doing something at that type of value.
Oh, it's transparent now.
Yeah, but now I can't actually see where it is.
She's like, is that my butt?
Yeah, this is not actually doing anything. Maybe that'll just do it.
You definitely moved it. But she's been cut in half.
That's fairly centered. It's a super long bit on how to do this right here. So it's center defines the point of rotation. Only useful if rotate is being used. Okay.
That was the default.
Oh, that's saying where its center is. Shift the texture by given numbers. 0.5 will shift it halfway. Oh, so it's by decimals. So when I did a full number, it was not doing anything because it was a full number is just a full rotation. Haha, okay. So now we do 0 and 0.5. And that should leave us
Yay.
perfect. Okay. Put that back on.
You still make it translucent?
Yeah.
Why is there... Oh no. It's just because the angle, I guess.
Oh.
That's confusing.
Translucence is very annoying in that it has problems.
Get Scarpodium Twilight. Stop going into this. Why are you so big?
Let's see if this one works better. There's two ways to make things transparent. There. This one works better.
Okay.
It's translucent in alpha test.
I see.
I don't know why, but alpha test seems to work. No, but if you've never played with this function before in SFM, it is super, super useful to where you can basically completely change and shift a texture on top of another object, and it has a lot of uses.
I go over podium. See big horse, see bigger than Celestia. It's like, I am biggest horse. I shall rule Equestria. Pick her spot. Can you shrink her down now? I so want you to leave it. No, that's the opposite. She's too big. She's just so...
So the one thing I'm noticing is that she is
big,
unlit, so we don't want that.
We gotta figure out the details here.
Well,
Make sure she blends with the environment.
Yeah, she was ignoring lighting. Okay, we're gonna delete that one. We're gonna go to here.
No, she's super tiny.
Twiggle, no. Put Twiggle in there too.
That one would be better just have her standing on top of the desk.
He's Sigma. We need to get her to be the correct size here. Why is she
rotated weird?
Yeah. Oh. I think I know why. Yeah, it's mixed rotation.
perfect. I see no reason to ever change this.
Okay, for this shot, she'd have to be like this.
Yes. This makes me so happy. Just back out a little bit. I want to see it. She was sweet.
The stupid part is she's like looking right at the camera.
No, it's perfect.
It is actually kind of like...
You don't really notice it first if you don't notice.
Oh, she's too close.
Oh, okay, that was the issue.
Stupid.
It's so perfect, I love it. Until you find your fourth pony, she needs to be the stand-in.
No, we can always just, like, you take her and then...
She's in the crowd now. Yep. No, she's multiply. It's dangerous. Too much twigs. Think of all the RAM you could save if you just fill up the audience with those.
They wouldn't move.
Dude. It's like, how are we sure there are no changelings in the audience? I'm positive. Who here would be a changeling? Do any of you purple unicorns think there are any changelings here? And they all just say no in unison. See? We're fine.
All the seats are filled.
There we go. Video done.
And no, you actually could like grab a sitting texture and put it on there. The problem is that none of them would be moving. So it actually would work for a picture. You could actually make that work pretty good. But for one, you need to find that many different like ponies sitting. But what I want though is something that looks alive and moving and in real. So because of that, this does not work.
I think that works amazing. Look at her. She's like, I am best audience. Gold.
How many Twilights does it take to take over the government?
At least this. I can't want you to just take a screenshot and write that. That is amazing.
I like this like
slow reveal. Slowly twice. It's like
yeah. But anyway,
it's amazing.
It is a little bit unsettling. We're gonna fill out this row.
That sounds like a good idea. Hey, Blurred Blah.
Oh no, it's another blurred. Here, this is your raid.
Here, I need to ban him. Where's my phone?
You're out with this now, Michael.
Yes, so I am happy. I think the video is. You don't even need this stuff on stage. Just render this. It's amazing. Twilight.
Lights. It's like what do they call that? The plot.
We'll talk about that.
No, the one that as you zoom in, it zooms in on itself infinitely.
Yeah. I don't know what that's called.
I keep wanting to see Ven something, but then if my brain says Vin Diesel, which makes no sense.
Thinking of. That is what this is called.
It's a fractal, but it's what is it called?
This is a Vin Diesel.
It's a specific one that is a fractal, and I can't remember. Mandelbrot. That's it. And you know what's actually really really cool? There's a video from Veritasium where they talk about distribution of animal populations and how as populations start rising, how things can diverge, but it ends up being that after so many bits, it goes into complete chaos, but then it like suddenly comes back into conformity and then goes to chaos again. It's this weird thing, and they at these certain aspects, and they found that that's the way that nature does it. Well, they found that if you take that and plot it out, but then you put it in 3 dimensions, it is the Vanderbilt set.
Yeah.
It's the Vanderbilt set turned 90 degrees. So they did it where they showed what the Vanderbilt set looks like in 3 dimensions, and it was fascinating looking. But it was where showing how the like a real life numbers worked into this fractal, and it was so cool.
Yeah, that's Vanderbilt. But just take a point called Z in the complex. Z equals. Get the exact equation. Look at those twilights. That's so many twilights.
You're gonna take over the government. Okay.
Yeah, well, good.
These are gonna
About
go
time. No, leave them. There's no reason not to.
Oh yeah, you just yet? Yeah, I like
At least for the time being.
I really like Veritasium stuff, but that one is just I thought was super cool.
You still needed one for the stage.
Yeah.
There you go. She needs to stay up there until you can figure out what to do with that spot.
Okay.
Yay, I'm happy.
Well, I know what to do. We take her.
You faced. Oh, jeez. Getting that hand.
Oh, that would be just Z. This one.
She's a very important horse.
Meet the threat with our valor, our blood, indeed with our very lives, to ensure that pony civilization, not changeling, rules Equestria now and always.
You know, when you send this file to whoever you're sending it to, make sure to send this version first.
Well,
and then when they're like,
I'm not done with it yet.
Just take out Celestia and put that back in.
We
You're like,
must
yep, that's
meet
it.
the
It's
threat
done.
with our valor,
Hope you like it.
our blood, indeed with our very lives, to ensure that pony civilization, not changeling, rules Equestria now and always. We must meet the threat with our valor, our blood, indeed with our very lives.
Actually, I'm gonna.
The version I want.
Indeed with
I like everybody else being super serious. It's so good.
our lives, to ensure that ponies, to ensure that pony civilization and not
Oh, my cheeks are hurting.
not changeling rules Equestria now and always.
Her Highness Princess Celestia. Princess Celestia announces by the country to be the high.
And always. And always.
Her Highness Princess.
We must meet the threat with our valor, our blood, indeed our very lives, to ensure that pony.
Oh! So the only one side of it is actually basically lit. The other side isn't. So it's just not accepting the light, I think.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it is accepting light that the front side is getting. So we're seeing the front sides on the front side of it on the back side. So it's dark because we're seeing the front, but it's like from in reverse. It's weird.
Let's see.
Yeah, so because of that, it only works like this.
To meet the threat with our valor.
If you really wanted to, you could even add like a small texture there and make it look like she's talking to.
I don't think you can go that far.
Or just slap a mouth on it.
Just had to record your mouth saying the words. Just, you're amazing. Just hide it for now, but when you send the final product, you just send them that one first. That would get such a laugh. No doubt. She a big bone. She's like, oh. Why is her hair disappearing? What is that?
Trying to get the positioning right, it's gonna be tough.
I feel like you had it at one point. That's good.
Hold on. And then
Gotta make it purple.
well, I can't hide the horn there, but
Got it.
With our valor. We must meet the threat with our valor, our blood, indeed with our very lives, to ensure that pony civilization, not changeling, rules Equestria now and always.
Her Highness Princess Celestia, enough.
I actually should have moved the root up so that it wasn't.
Indeed, with our very lives.
Burden. Oh no. I agree.
See, this is we could save so much time animating. Just do this.
It's amazing. It's a new art style. Oh, you're undoing it. It's just
I have to because I don't remember when I saved.
It's so amazing. Oh boy.
Go away, Twilight.
No. She's not even in her
Okay,
spot.
that's fine. I don't need to.
We must meet the threat with our valor.
So.
Yeah, but this one I can just delete. It didn't affect her at all.
Okay, back to your.
It was way easier.
That was amazing. I'm gonna go back and watch that when you have this uploaded.
Alcohol. I had the nickname of Mountain God for a while, and actually, if you look at this channel, the associated games are Mountain and Source Filmmaker for that reason. But the whole reason I originally, I think it's Mountain God is still on here. The reason I got that nickname was because somebody in chat way back, I think it was Raptor, had when I did something really stupid, and he just went to say my God, something like he said dear God, but he put an R instead of instead of my, he put T, so it said MT God, which was like, I'm like, Mountain God? What the hell is Mountain God? And then I made a joke about being the Mountain God, and then it stuck for like a year and a half.
In Manhattan, the
I don't know how I'm supposed to one up that.
Nah, you should have just left it. Something like that. I'm sure they would have loved it. Like, this is exactly what we asked for.
in Maine.
What the hell were we doing? Oh yeah, okay, we had
You've been playing with that Twilight for the last half hour, so it's all good.
Is there other idols I can steal? Do I have any other videos or something where somebody is standing and not doing anything? Kind
Some
of.
of those, the ones that aren't talking anyways.
Well, a lot of them are moving.
Mm-hmm.
I just need somebody that's standing. Rarities would almost work, but she's not really moving otherwise. It's the camera movements that's doing that. I actually meant to click this one. Try to run voice lines with 15 AI. It's so cool. No, I haven't. Heard something about it though.
Yeah, I see a lot of people doing it with Twilight and Fluttershy. I'm guessing those are the only two voices they have on there.
No, there's Derpy in the background here. But she's just her head. It's not an actual idol. Australia's 2 actions pack stuff, not Apple Dash. Not bullets. No.
They got Celestia now.
Oh. I can see it being pretty useful if it's if you just need something quick.
Yeah. I mean, the voices are very, very robotic, but
Maybe that works out well. Are they real? There's sit idols in the back. And then there's a walking idol.
There's more derpy. That's 2 derpies.
Well, this is the one that I did not do the lip syncing for this one.
There's Alicorn derpy and then there's regular derpy.
Oh, she's like,
She got
whoa.
muffins.
Oh.
I haven't watched that video in forever. I need to watch it again. Oh no. Why? No, don't replay that part. You're just cruel. It's still derpy. So. Even if you are abusing her, you're a crazy person. It's mean to derpy. Stop this. This is wrong. No. Like that scene where Rainbow Dash is thrown in the trash. You know that scene? It's Rainbow Trash. She's best pony, period.
We could just make this a GIF.
You don't have to do that. But how about the earlier images of her being adorable and being surrounded by muffins? Definitely outdoors.
I can't think of anything I have that had just a standing idol, like people standing in the. Oh no, that was a failure. Yeah, I had one.
Didn't have anything in that one with Lyra, where she was just standing.
I might be able to steal something from that. If the camera's moving sideways like that, I normally can get away with not putting too much into idols. Where's the other 2? There they are.
Not really idling though. They're very much.
No, she actually jerks a little bit. And then after this, it's mostly just running and berry punch drinking. I just love the like kids screaming and then she's just drinking.
It's like, well, seems like a good time.
I love that video. That's one of my favorite ones I've made.
It's so sweet.
It's so stupid. It makes no sense.
It all started with this nonsense in chat.
And like all of this, like her action poses here, were all copy paste of stuff. So that like stomp was I can't remember that one was, but that was a stomp from something. Her turn here was from Little Pip.
Yeah.
And then that was from Fluttershy doing her breathe in for something else. So that I think was unique. Because you have to do the superhero stance when they're floating, where one leg is pulled up and crossed over the other.
Lyra's pretty cool.
And super bouncy. But then,
Oh, my shame.
there's kind of an idol I could take from that.
Really? Right there.
Right, yeah, like in the middle there. It's a backup. Oops. I should save that. Because even if I take the time to find an idol that already exists, it's going to save me time compared to making one.
If
I have to have one. Not that. No. Oh no, she just doesn't move there. And that's just, she's not even moving at all.
no, she's scared. Scared.
No. That would work.
A lot of rarities.
And this was long enough ago that it should already be exported.
In Manhattan, the Equestrian Council convenes.
We must.
In Manhattan.
Her tail is swooshed.
Why is your suit moving?
In Manhattan, the Equestrian.
That's what I thought. You're breathing. She's breathing, but the suit is attached to her chest, and since you can't see the chest, it just looks like it's like floating. But to offset this, I need to lock the neck. I need to lock the front two legs. Then I have to go to the position, in, then unlock. That should fix that.
In Manhattan, the Equestrian Council convenes.
What do you do?
In Manhattan, the Equestrian Council convenes.
We must meet the.
Okay, now that there's some motion, I want to have her looking this way. Her tail. Oops.
Squished. For whatever reason.
It's positioned itself to rarities. Not all of them have bones in the same place. So like hers is supposed to be further back, and this will be further down, I think. Now to be exact. Okay.
Manhattan, the Equestrian Council convenes.
We must.
And should I have Spitfire looking elsewhere at the beginning, though?
I think she'd had her eyes pretty well fixed on the princess the whole time.
No. If you were, it depends. If she was actually playing security and watching her for threats, she would be doing anything but.
Well, I feel like her role right now is not necessarily security. Though.
Manhattan, the Equestrian.
She might be looking
Manhattan,
around
the Equestrian Council. Manhattan, the Equestrian Council. The Equestrian Council convenes. The Equestrian Council convenes. Council convenes. Equestrian Council convenes. Equestrian Council convenes. Council convenes. Council convenes. Council convenes.
That's fine.
Equestrian Council convenes. Equestrian Council convenes. The Equestrian Council convenes. Manhattan, the Equestrian Council convenes. In Manhattan.
And it depends too, like, you could see that if it was like Soren next to her, she might be talking to it. It's just or Twilight I don't see, so I see Twilight talking at Spitfire, but Spitfire not really responding during this.
I feel like Twilight wouldn't even talk because she'd be like, shh.
She can't talk because she's a 2D picture. She has no mouth. Well, kind of. We gave her a mouth.
She's just very interested in you right now, I think. Direction she's looking. She's always watching, and he's just like, I think there's something wrong with my sister. She's very flat looking.
We're gonna move him backwards just a little bit because I don't want him clipping so much. I don't think I can make those stairs go back anymore.
Yeah, it's not matter too much.
Well, you can't even see his back hoof anyway.
In Manhattan, the Equestrian Council.
Oh, you kind of can, but only for like a quarter second.
You almost can't tell from this distance if there's something wrong with Twilight.
No, actually, I don't. I would think that for the most part, you probably wouldn't be able to tell. But also, we're looking at the small little window. Yeah, it's a little easier to tell there. Actually, I don't even think that's regular render size. Oh no, I have my render set to 1080, so I can't actually get it big enough on here because it would take up the full screen. Normally runs at 720, which actually, now that I think about it, I am running it set at 1080. So, when looking into everything, I'm getting between 7 to 8. Not tools, I mean software and games. Oh, there we go. I think this one I keep the same. Now I'm curious. I might be able to actually put more in there than I thought, because if I can well, when I render it, I have to put it at the highest amount. But this could increase performance while working on it, because otherwise it's trying to render it the full 1080 pixels, but if I drop it to 720. It really didn't change much.
Yeah.
Looks like it's about the same. But I only did change the one resolution. The other one might make a difference. But expecting a refresh anyway.
In Manhattan,
so the only thing that Celestia that's left is probably like, I don't have to do anything with her wings, I think.
The Equestrian Council convenes.
The other side. They would just be other side.
In Manhattan.
Well, if it was a close-up shot, I would have the wings bounce with their motion. And when you get up to here, it's about, you could have the wings dip lower and pull up tighter, which is normally what it would do. But here, I'm not going to bother. I'm probably not even going to bother with her eyebrows. Her tail, though.
In Manhattan, the Equestrian Council.
So her head and her tail do matter.
In main.
But those are going to be more annoying because when it comes to normal motion, it's easy. She turned her head left, so yeah, I would swing that way. But now it's like, which is it? If she's just walking, it's going to sway back and forth just naturally. Okay. Which ones were those? Okay, I don't know which is one frame and which isn't, so I gotta turn that on. 2 frames. 2 frames. I gotta delete even more. Oh, you know what? It's not doing anything because I didn't animate both of them. What I wanted to do is this. Oh. Missed one. Okay. Now I go and remove this. 1, 2. So 2, 1, 2. 1, 2. There we go. Okay, for the angle of her hair too, I feel like gravity is not treating it correctly. It would actually be down like this. Probably not going to bother with sway, like walk sway. So this is going to make their hair go that way. Hair go that way. That part of it. So now I gotta do some cheat motion in here.
For a second there, I thought she was trapped in a giant box all of a sudden.
I can actually see that, yeah. No, she's not.
Enough, I say. More bones are necessary for that crowd.
Okay, so there is going to be a little bit of leftover swing here. Which I can translate here.
Spitfire's starting to talk.
Hmm?
I thought Spitfire's mouth stripped.
Okay, and now I'm going to grab this part. I'm just going to move it 2 frames ahead and 2 frames ahead. Now it's the C. It's pretty close. It doesn't need pones.
You need to start stacking them on top of each other.
I always utilize those little bits for messages for myself, mainly because when it goes, or if you want, I thought there's a way to like jump between shots. But yeah, I can at least go and look at a shot, and if you want to, so even if I used to have paragraphs I'd make in some of these. Australia is one that I had full paragraph or so of what the idea of the shot was as I was going through, so that I didn't forget anything. But otherwise, I used it as like bullets, so I can go and look in here and say this is what I need to do. As soon as it's like I'll say like crossfade with an arrow pointing left, and the next shot will say crossfade with an arrow pointing right, just to remind myself there's going to be a fade here and I have to render across. And so normally for something like that, I will do it'll look on the clip editor like this. And what it means is that if it's a crossfade here, I have to render shots like this, and then I'll go through again and I'll re-render like this, where this shot will have a cross range for the other one to go on top of. So that's one note I'll leave. Sometimes I'll also leave like marks as to what the frame numbers are. I used to do that for if I had fades within the same shot, which actually did happen during Remembrance. I actually had multiple cameras, and each of them had a frame number that said start and end, so I knew where that was. The bookmarks sometimes get too confusing. So yeah, they're essentially shot notes, but it is nice that you can just hover over this and then see whatever information is there. It kind of be funny too.
Neat poems.
That and trying to make the shots names identifiable for what it is. It doesn't have to be detailed. It's just about if I tell myself what the shot is in like 3 or 4 words. So that's why I have here, it's council chamber, solicitor's speech, and then council applause. So because to me those are about the all I need for information on it. And then this is Fluttershy speech, though technically actually I think even needs poems is a carryover. Like this doesn't need poems. Kind of, not anymore. Because when I was working on the Fluttershy thing, it was about building the audience for it, which I know I'd rendered pictures. I don't know where I put them now. I might not have put them anywhere. I might have gotten rid of them. But there's just some of the pre-render pictures of the auditorium that she's standing on right now that was made for something else. Though what's left of it is none, really. Spirch. Yeah, all cleaned up now. Actually, this I don't even want to use. I'm gonna make it purple. Purple 10 is the non-render clips that I need to maintain, and the only reason it's there is because I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing anything with it, so I'm just leaving it there as a if I ever have to. Yeah, it's kind of like storyboard details. That's what I did for Australia. Nice thing with SFM is I don't do storyboard. I don't know how to. I would actually storyboard in SFM, which is nice because then when you're ready to move forward, you have your base to go from. But I actually have.
I just want. It's so amazing, just that shot. I thought it was like a legit, like a toy figurine being taken across something.
So this was my storyboard.
This of course.
Oh, how could I let this happen? The ponies are right there.
Some of these camera angles are not in the final, but a lot the camera cuts were very similar, and it helped me get the idea across.
Why? Why did you go?
Lighting's bad because I just didn't care. Yeah, she's just sitting here.
It is then that an encrypted file in Velvet.
For some reason, like I forgot that there's a fade in here, so it kind of got dark. But that was something else. But some of these were keyframed slightly, like so her standing up was kind of keyframed.
I'm not sure what's going on or
This
why,
is just
though.
like no 3D
I'm not sure
outfit.
of what I'm going to do.
It's completely
Decision.
Oh, the hoof button press was because that literally took me like a minute. So
Made there and then.
if the animation is something that I can throw together really
The
quick, I
leave the
do.
stable that no pony had ever left before.
Like the door opening and stuff. Well, that I kind of need to know. I even have it for. I have it for Remembrance, but Remembrance is actually called Awakened because that was what it was called at that point. This is early
Why did
animation.
you change the name?
Because it gave a spoiler as to what the video was intended to be. If it was called Awaken, then very quickly you'd be figuring out what was going on. But because of Remembrance, it made it sound like something like it was a sad thing. And then when things started going on, it was more of a surprise. And I can't remember who came up with the name Remembrance. It wasn't me. The textures were broken on this. Aggie had to fix it for me later.
I don't know how many people are Metalocalypse fans, but if I hear this word Awaken, I'm just imagining Metalocalypse.
Yeah.
Like a death block, just be like
Yeah, this is
meddling them back to life.
the map's not even done here. The window sills weren't cut out yet. So I just have the textures of the windows floating in front of the walls. These are not actually light. There's no light actually running into these. They're just set to be glowing at a much brighter amount than normal. So it gave the impression that sun was coming through, which is very much what games normally do too. But like this just had like very little impact feel without the camera cut. Yeah, you're just it's not thank you. It's not an emitter, so there's a property on textures called self-illumination where, well, there's two different types. There's unlit generic and self-illumination. What the differences are is actually, look in the VMT here, this texture has it partially in here. Unlit is a texture type, so if you set this to unlit instead of vertex lit, it's saying nothing is lighting it, and to sit at the base illumination, which in terms of the source engine is number 15, where an object can or a map in general can have 15 different levels of light. I don't remember where that number came from, but I remember hearing it, and it would just default to the max lighting that an object would normally receive. In SFM, when I am sitting here with the lights turned off, this is technically simulating that, where I am right now at that the unlit with all textures. That's why I like Twilight when before looked the same with the unlight off or on. Vertex lit means that light will interact with it, and that's the only way it will show. So if you do unlit, it will be at max base brightness, but that is it. It won't have any, you can't touch it at all. It is locked to that, and there's no way to use it. One of the useful bits for it is using GUIs. So Source Engine actually will you'll be in a 3D engine, but and a lot of games do this, but the interface that you're using is actually flat textures in a 3D space just hovering in front of the camera. And so it uses unlit so that everything just stays lit all the time. Well, if you want to actually play with that brightness, though, then you want to use something called... Actually, I can use it here because we have our Twilight. Self Illume 1. So that's just a Boolean to basically turn it on. And what you should notice is very little change. Oh, I forgot. Transparency and self-illumination don't work together.
Now I feel like she's trapped in that thing from Superman. What was it called? The Phantom Zone? Where she just floating through space. She's like, ah!
No, you can't have translucent textures with self-illumination, because self-illumination can cause a glow, which is a glow around the edges, and those are false edges. So they don't work well together. But that's fine. So with that on, though, you can then do self-illume tint. And what this will do is it will change the color of whatever it is. And so by default, and actually, you know what? I'm going to do this as an override, because then it'll be easier to show. Twilight is in this shot. So now that I put when I put this on her, it defaulted to 000 instead of 111. So it basically went to black. Well, self-illumination is at black, and all self-illumination does is add brightness. So the map or the model is still receiving light from the map. Self-illumination is about adding to that. I don't know if I can I do a negative? I can.
She's gone.
I never even thought to do that.
It just makes it disappear.
I just thought about that. I've never done it before. It's not good. Negative illumination, it works it's very touchy, so that's why like even negative 0.2 is making a big change.
Just don't imagine Twilight being trapped in the Phantom Zone.
But yeah, that actually works.
Space.
But the nice thing is that, I mean, I can go to 100 and then it'll make her like red. But again, it's not like where if I rename this to color, that's actually not going to work because of the alpha on her. But let me put that back. So what color will basically just make it completely red. Self-illumination is again adding to it. So it's only going to add a hue of red because it's still the base lighting, base color with the red on top of it instead of replacing it. But I can like go beyond these values. So I can go 10, 10, 10, and now she's actually glowing. So in terms of those windows, what I did was I went into this tint and I just bumped the brightness up past its 111 to like the whatever was needed to get to glow the way that I wanted it to. And for each window then too, I believe I also gave it a slight hue of the horse that was in it, so that the glow that came from it was more specific to their color. So if you watch in the final, it makes it so that there's that one shot from the side. Yeah, here. It makes it so that the glow that kind of comes off from this is going to be more specific colored to who was in there. But that was a very minor thing. But those are flat textures with no transparency. So all the lighting that's coming through is a false thing. So yeah, the textures look like they're glowing. And then to get the whole shot to work, so you have a false window that's self-glowing. You have a couple lights of that same texture that are blurred, and there's a reason I have a blurred version of it, that are aimed at the inside of this, mainly so that it wasn't just all flat light coming through. It was broken up. It's not even a match up. I tried to match it the best I could so that like there was darker here because of the darker colors, but then it's right here. It's not a match, but it's better than just flat lighting. So I did that on all these bits on the inside. I did a separate glow just right on the edge outside rim of a color, another glow across the entire thing so that it just looked like all the windows were lighting up that area more than others. And then I had two other lights coming down through the window. One of them is a volumetric of the texture itself. And so that it kind of created that like effect with the breaks and the light beams coming down. These beams here are actual models that are just to help create a little bit of more volume to it. On the ground though, this is where I had taken the actual texture of the windows, and
I have one question. Why did Rainwood ask you to center with it?
I was going off personalities, and as I guess a side fact on that then, so the reason for the order was Rainbow Dash to me would be the one that would want the middle pillar compared to anybody else, and so they would just give her the middle pillar. And then past that, it was about color distribution. So Fluttershy and Applejack are both yellow, so I didn't want to put them next to each other. And then to maintain some kind of symmetry, I instead just completely put them on opposite sides from each other. And then with the middle ones, I think I did it because this is Pinkie Pie's kind of consistent pose, and it worked better looking in that direction because I wanted them all kind of looking in. So I did have a reason, kind of.
I figured it was just blatant favoritism.
Maybe. But the main reason was if there was going to be one that would be a center.
I figured it'd be rarity, honestly.
And the other reason was because the back of this shot, I just really liked. Where it was coming back from her with the wings.
Just something about that pony just seemed right.
But yeah, to me it felt better having her in the middle.
I
plus then it was just the splitting up of colors. So but anyway, I actually had for a while, I had a shelf in my room that I had all the ponies, the 40E plushes all in the same order they were in here, and then Twilight on the end. But I don't have them on a shelf anymore. I have to still do that.
Are they in the closet? Or?
Yeah, they make it sound like they're in a box in there, but I have a really big walk-in closet, and I just with a bunch of shelves, and they're all across the shelves.
He's got the Forbidden Derpy in there. Isn't how I call it the Forbidden Derpy, but it's forbidden.
But anyways, so the textures that are across the ground here are. This is. Well, you can see it from here. So it is the same texture. Then I flipped it because if I were to take this texture from there and then put it down, it would actually be opposite with the window. So I had to take the texture, mirror it, and then blur it. And then I just shine that at an angle on the ground. So none of these actual windows are creating any light. All the light that is popping up anywhere is individual lights made to look like they are. And actually I think even her, Rainbows, I believe, is shadowed. And I think, like, because they're all individual lights and you're only limited to 8 shadow lights, so I believe, like, her Rainbows is set to shadowed so that it would create a shadow behind her, but all the rest of them aren't, because there was nothing in the way that needed to be shadowed. So it's just about keeping that count down. It's the same thing, or exact same method I used for these in this hallway. So all those windows are a texture on the ground. None of them are a light shining at the ground, except these ones. Those ones are... No, actually... Okay, so that was the one thing with this that was annoying. I originally had it where these were textures and these were actual light coming through the window, but then I ran into an issue with that where they were different sizes. So I had to create... I took this texture, whited it out, and added lines into it, and had it coming through so that they were the same size and shape. And so even those are not actually real. Except for here, or one of these shots, I think it might have been like this one, the light coming through was the actual light, because I needed the shadows to work correctly. It might have been this one, because that texture is... I think it's this one, because this is much more blurred than that one back there. And I can't remember exactly why. But yeah, like in this shot, it would have been like these ones were like ending here, and because the light wasn't at an infinite distance like the sun would be considered, it would... each of these windows had it at a slightly different angle, so as it went down the hall, that you could tell they were kind of like arcing out.
Phone's a jerk. She didn't even bother to bring back Best Pony.
Trying to think if there's any other lighting triggers in here. I went through and there's every shot that Twilight's in that's a brighter room, which is just about every one of them. Her eye actually has a light aimed directly onto her eye, and I had to manually move it with her eye no matter where she went. So like even here, when her eye opens, you can see the light doesn't follow exactly right. It kind of moves around a little bit, which to me actually makes it feel realistic. But that was also just the imperfections of dealing with the engine, how it does with the lighting or whatever. But it took me hours just to light the eyes. Like you just hear to move all the light to match everywhere. If you look right at it, it doesn't look right, but in general, it's fine. There's even a part here. Nope, not here.
Can't help
here.
but feel like she's just bringing back Rainbow Dash, and the others just happen to be there.
She missed.
Well, it's just like she's like going to Rainbow Dash's pedestal and everything.
Well, she went to the first one, but from the angle that it was at, it was on nondescript, so that was kind of part of the point too. But no, it's a little hard to tell here. But I even have in the eye, because there's this glowing orb going by. I went and actually did a reverse in the eye, so if this is going up and around, you can actually see the light go up through her eye. It's very, very, very little, but it was I had to manually add this light flickering across her eye. But it's just little details that you don't notice. This effect, this like little webbing effect, was After Effects. This was actually put in post. Yeah, it's the fun thing with lighting is you can't use real lights, so it's how can I use the lights in this simple fashion to simulate more complex lighting, and that's actually really fun to me. Like with those windows, like how am I going to make it look like it's working that way, and finding cool, neat ways to do it. So I actually found that was really fun. There was somebody that did point out in this room, all the lights are coming down through this straight. I mean, you can even see even in this shot, not just that one. But all the lights are coming straight through this window. But when you go back to these shots, the light's actually coming in sideways. So in the time it took her to go from here to into that room, all the light changed 90 degrees.
Celestine's just moving the sun. I feel like that's what she does. She's just gotten so old that, like, I'm just going to keep moving the sun to whatever place gives me the best lighting. So she just zips it around the sky all day.
So we're going to fix Twilight here. Okay, she's back to normal.
Yes. I feel like the rest of them would just be like, yes, we have to deal with these changeling armies. They're ruining Equestria. They attacked Huffington. Then you got Twilight over there. Friendship is magic. Yes, Twilight, yes.
Friendship is magic. She makes shadows.
Yay.
She's real.
She's the realest of them all.
Anyway, it's 8 o'clock though, so I am going to be done for today. We got a total of nothing done.
No, you did the best part.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see this, this stream uploaded so I can rewatch the Twilight.
I got a little bit of the main and stuff done. Yeah, stock audio from the toy. Like, let's fly to a castle.
Yes, like everybody else be having serious conversation, just be like doing the stock voices. It replies to everything.
You can even hear the pull of the cord. So, anyway, I will be back on Friday. More than likely, I'm going to try to make a Rathalos short because I haven't made one for a couple weeks now. Been lazy. And I've had a couple tweets of, are you dead? So I probably should do something. So, unless I do it during the week, but I'm guessing that won't happen. So, anyways, have a good week. See you then. And have Kitty.
Meow meow. I came back for Kitty.
Yeah, I see that.
Meow.
Okay. Meow.
Meow.
Meow.